everyone, Derek Johnson with Tatango.com. This is Text Message Week in Review for the week 35 of 2020. What a year it's been. Okay, so let's jump right into it. The first text message is from Express. Now, before we start, where are these text messages coming from? SMSarchives.com. It has over 2,000 text messages, 100 plus brands, and all the inspiration that you need to run your own text messaging campaign. So as I said, let's jump into it. Express. So if you look at this Express message, it's good. Limited time. So they put their brand, right at the front. They capitalized limited time. Get $30 off 100, $50 off 150, or 100 off 250 with a code, and then exclusions apply, and then add coupon to wallet. What I would do in this scenario is line breaks, a lot of line breaks. I would put a line break after 30 off 100, then after 50 off 150. So the message would be kind of stacked. I think that would look really good. Then I'm not really sure, do I go into the store and use the code, or do I go to a website? I think it can be much more clear. Maybe it's, add coupon to wallet, but if that's the case, if that's the call to action, you want to make that the first link. And then I would put line break, and put exclusions apply at the end. I personally don't like when they put exclusions apply in a link in the text message. I'd rather see it maybe when you click through to the website, you would see that exclusions apply, or exclusions apply, see website. With two links, I don't really know which one to click, and there's a 50-50 chance I'm going to click either one, where I think Express will really want consumers to click the wallet one. So a lot of line breaks can be used to kind of break up the message because it's a little bit jumbled, and then making sure that the call to action is very clear, what you want them to do. And then if it is clicking a link, make sure that link is front centered, kind of the first link on the page. And then exclusions apply can be way down at the bottom, or if you want, just put them on the website. Anyway, that is Express. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is Aeropostale. I think I'm saying that correctly. So then they're using kind of an abbreviation of their name, Aero. 20% off. Yes, please. Take our 2-minute survey to score your savings code. Start now. So you can see, what they want you to do is take the survey, then there's a link to the survey, and it's pretty obvious. I do notice at the bottom here it says text help for help. You don't need to include that. There's no requirement that says that. The stop to quit, that needs to be in there at least once per month. It can be in every single message too if you want, but the requirement is only once per month. But there is no requirement for text help for help. That might just confuse people. Good, use of the coupon code, the survey. And the reason being is that we have found that if you put some kind of thing in between the consumer clicking the message and the discount, the coupon, the promotion, whatever it is, this can be, a game, a survey like this one is. It could be, all kinds of different things, those spinny wheels, swipe left, swipe right, kind of some interactive kind of thing in between the consumer clicking and the end result, which is the coupon. The conversions go up significantly, so then your ROI goes up. So really good use. Now it takes a lot more time to build a survey, on a mobile website, and then after the survey, you link them to the mobile coupon, but we have found it's worth it. So definitely, if you can, once a month, try to mix in some kind of gameplay, survey, game, quiz, poll, contest, whatever it is, because you will get a higher ROI. All right, let's go to the next one. This is constantly varied gear. This one is either a very long SMS message, so they're combining SMS messages, or it's an MMS message. As you can see, they put reply stop to unsubscribe at the bottom. Again, only needed once per month, but you can put it in if you want. They did a really good job of using line breaks and using a lot of text. Now, some people think, every text message has to be 160 characters. That's not correct. I actually advise clients to vary it up. Some text messages should be really long with no image or video or GIF. Some should be really short with a video. Some should be really long with a GIF. Vary it up every single different message so that the consumer is always kind of being not shocked, but interested, or like, oh, that's something new, instead of just every single message being 160 characters plain text. If you do shock the consumer, it's much more likely that they're going to read the message and take action. Okay, so have you heard that our nutrition challenge is starting September 1st? And then they go into it. Great use of line breaks, because I can easily read this. This is like an email that I would receive from a friend. It's easy to comprehend, where if they put this all together, it would just be a mess. So essentially they're just kind of giving a warning to their consumer, saying, hey, it's coming up. If you want, the rules and guidelines, you can click here. So this is more of an informational message, but again, mixing messages up: informational, coupon, promotion, survey, contest, poll. Always kind of be mixing it up so the consumer just doesn't assume every single time it's $25 off $500 purchase or $25 purchase, whatever it is. Always be mixing it up. Okay, next one is Active Ride Shop, and I'm being told this is a new brand in smsarchives.com. So go to smsarchives.com, check it out. We'll now be indexing Active Ride Shop. Looks pretty cool. Love the emoji, and it's you don't have to use just like faces emojis. You can use things like a siren, a cloud, a sun, all those different kinds of emojis in an MMS message. This is an MMS message most likely. It's super interesting because this one kind of shocks me a little bit, because I believe that's the subject line in an MMS, or actually maybe the body of the message. I don't really know, because there's no other text in the message. And what they're doing here is they're using a link preview. So really their text message is only like 30, 40, maybe 30 characters, which is, really unique and interesting. And it's like, oh, I haven't seen this before. Next one I would do for them is maybe a 600 character text message with no image. So then it's like, whoa, okay, it keeps on shifting back and forth. Keep the consumer on their toes. I like this. I like also how they got the emoji in the link preview title, as you can see down there. Great use of emojis here. Highly recommend it. If you're sending an MMS message, pack it with emojis, pack it with line breaks. I think that just stands out really, really well. Okay, next one, favorite of mine, Humane Society of America. Really great use of the image, big, bold, easy to read, 2x match. It doesn't go into a ton of details. It also shows kind of where they're at in terms of the donations. Just right now, without even reading anything, I kind of get an idea of what's going on, what they're trying to do, which is good. You want that from the image. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, you have to watch out, because MMS messages or images, they always kind of, are curved on the side. So you want to make sure that maybe the logo gets put in a little bit more so it doesn't get cut off there. That's something you definitely want to test. And then I love the use of the emoji, the heart. It draws my attention. It also draws my attention that this kind of looks like it's from, Eileen there at the bottom. So that kind of makes it a little more personal. Now, the one thing I would do is line breaks here. This is a lot of text. I'm actually not even going to read it, because it's just too much text, and, my words would get jumbled. Break this out into little kind of paragraphs with line breaks, essentially double line breaks. And then, help save more lives, click here. So a good message, really good image. I love the image. The text, I love the call to action. It's very clear. I love the emoji, but you can break it up, make it a little more easy to read. Okay, that is it. That was a quick text message marketing week in review for week 35 of 2020. Again, my name is Derek Johnson with Tatango.com, and we are finding all of these text messages, and you can find all these text messages at smsarchives.com. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.